Bye. Good midnight. This is Amina at midnight, and this is a channel for the night owls. The video tonight will cover Beyond the Gates and The Never Ever Mets. Last time I only did Beyond the Gates. We'll see if we can cover 2 shows tonight. Please hit the like button, the thumbs up button, subscribe for free, and share the channel with others so we can get more views, or people may want to participate. If you're a regular YouTuber, you know that the comments and statements expressed here are only our opinions, mine and those of you who want to participate during this midnight hour. All the information is alleged and intended for entertainment purposes only, according to the Fair Use Disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. You see the disclaimer. So we're only here for our opinions. I'm hoping people will call in and or put comments in the chat, so I won't be doing this segment alone. Hi, Dana. I see you're here already. Thank you. Good morning to you too. Okay, so we got one person joining us. Thank you. The number to call if you want to participate by phone is 412-530-5063, and it will be scrolling along the bottom of the screen along with the Cash App in case you want to support this channel. So I'm going to try and take your calls. Now, if someone calls when someone else is on the line, you'll get a Google announcement, but don't leave a message. Just hang up and call when you think the line is free. All right. See, Dana says hi. Yes, hi. How are you? So we have another night owl. So today's episode of Beyond the Gates was season 1, episode 32. After we talk about that a little bit, then we may go into The Never Ever Mets, season 2, episode 1. Hey, I see Lori Penn. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining in. You can call in anytime or leave a comment or question in the chat. Every now and then I will try to remind you to hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video. All right, I see Alicia. Hi, hello. And it says, thanks for the invite. You're welcome. Thank you for stopping in. Yay. Don't forget to hit the like button. All right. Okay, so now I'm hoping people will watch this soap opera because it's focused on African American and the African American family and the African American community. Now, this particular show focuses on a gated community, and the people there are very well off. And if you're used to soap operas, it kind of follows the mood. Some people just can't stand soap operas, but I don't mind. I don't mind looking at one that I can relate to, and not because of the money, but because of the people. And if we continue to support programming that includes us, we can get more of the same type of program for us to enjoy. All right, now this particular episode starts off with Anita and Vernon Dupree, and they're the matriarch and patriarch of the Dupree dynasty. And they were talking about how well their granddaughters did in the fashion show, which was a fundraiser. Chelsea, that's Danny's daughter, was the headliner. And she was the headliner because she has so many views and she's a very social media personality. All right, Dana says she's all for supporting our own. Yes, and this is not only is this a soap opera for African Americans, but the NAACP is also part of it. So I'm sure by them being part of it, they will make sure that it's not derogatory toward us, and it'll keep its focus on African Americans. So that's why I'm hoping more people will look at it. And I know a lot of people are against soap operas, but just like the reality shows, a lot of people are against reality shows too. And that's the second half of this. If we have time, will be on a reality show, The Never Ever Met. But they were talking about the Dupree modeling era, and they were they were talking Chelsea, the headliner. This was going to be her last modeling event, and surprisingly, Samantha, their little cousin, because she's the great granddaughter of Vernon and Anita, she was also in the fashion show. It was a surprise to her and to everybody else, but it gave her the bug, the modeling bug. So now she wants to model. And they were talking about how fitting the fashion show was to be the end of the Dupree modeling era. But it seems like it won't be the end because Samantha wants to model too, but Chelsea wants to give up modeling. Then the scene goes to Samantha and Tyrell because they have decided that what they want to do is they want to separate their two dads. They have two fathers, and one they call Pop and one they call Dad. Now, I know I haven't been looking at soap operas for a long time, since Generations. Generations was the other Black soap opera. And I did look at All My Children because they had Jesse and Angie in it. But this is the first soap opera that I know about that has two dads. But I know that more and more programs will have families that are non-traditional like this one. And so I guess to tell the difference between their dads, one is called Pop and one is called Dad. Big Dog, Pittsburgh Big Dog. Thank you. Hello. A regular here. Hello. Thanks for joining in. And if you have any comments about that particular aspect of the soap opera, the two dads that they have. So they just go along with the two dad aspect of it as if it is, regular, which that they're trying to do more and more now, to show that there are different types of families that you can have. But what the two children were trying to do was to separate their two dads so that Samantha could work on Smitty, so that Smitty can persuade Martin to allow her to model. Now, she's only about 16 years old and still in high school, but she wants to model. So she feels like if she can get Smitty, because they think Smitty is the reasonable one, and Martin is the one that they say they have to walk on eggshells around. But they want him to be able to persuade Martin to let Samantha model. So we'll see how that works out. I thought when Terrell took Martin upstairs that he would finally open up to Martin about what had happened to his face, because he hasn't told Marty or Smitty what actually happened to him, which was while they were in the locker room changing, one of the guys in the locker room stole his phone and took a picture of him, in his boxers, and sent it to the most popular girl in the school as if it was one of those pictures, that you shouldn't send around. And her boyfriend got wind of it and, punched him in the face. Now, he said that he had fallen off of a bike, but neither one of his fathers believe it. And I thought this was the opportunity that he was going to take to tell Martin what really happened. But all he did was, just supported what Samantha wanted to do. Now, as a parent, I think I would kind of be opposed to my 16-year-old daughter trying to model before she finished school, because things can be so dangerous in that field. I know Chelsea, her cousin, was trying to tell her about one of her friends who was modeling, and she became where she had that disease where you can't eat, You just try not to eat, and you just because dyslect no, not she I'm trying to think of what that disease was, but anyway, her friend got really, really sick because she was trying to lose so much weight, and then she just couldn't gain anymore. So she tried to let Samantha know some of the downfalls of modeling. But not only that, that kind of life can be really, really dangerous for someone young. Anorexia. Thank you, Alicia. See, we have very smart night owls. Yeah, she became anorexic. And so Chelsea was trying to let her know that it looks glamorous, but there are downfalls to becoming a model. But she still wants to be a model. So we'll see how that works. Yeah, thank you. Keep me on track, please. Okay, then we come to the despicable couple. That's what I call them, Bill and Haley, because that's the one where she decided to befriend Danny and Bill Haley and the whole family. She became best friends with their daughter, Naomi, and then she took Bill from Danny. She took Bill from Danny, and now they're married. And not only are they married, but they live in the same gated community. So it's like they keep throwing it up in their faces. But anyway, Bill and Haley, Design Diva too. Thank you. Good evening. Thanks for getting on. So Haley and Bill decided they were going to go to lunch. Bill said that he wanted to go to the country club, but Haley was skeptical because they shunned her in the country club because of what she did to Danny. But Bill decided, no, we're going to go to the country club and they're going to treat you right because of him and his power. He thinks that he will, make them treat her right. So we'll see if that happens. But of course, when they get there, Danny's there and she's there talking to Hannah, but they like to throw things up in her face. So they got there, they looked at her. I'm sure she saw them. Yeah, she saw them. And she was talking to Hannah. Now, Hannah is the one who headed the First Generations Grant Program. And that's where she had the fundraiser for. I like that. Amina Owls. Amina Owls. I like that. That could be my, how a lot of these channels, they have fans. They call them fans, but they call them fans, and they have names for them. They have like a fan club, and they have names for them. So Amina Owls, or Amina Owls. Now, so Danny was there, and she was talking to the head of the fundraiser, and she probably thought that they were going to talk about how well the fundraiser did because they raised a whole lot of money. Danny is a good fundraiser, and she had a whole lot of projects that she was going to present to Hannah. But what Hannah was there for was to let her know that they decided that they were going to remove her from the board because of her antics. Remember, she had gone to Bill and Haley's wedding, and she decided to pull out a gun. I don't think she had planned to shoot anyone in particular. She just had the gun just to let them know, that it wasn't good that they decided to marry. A good catch title for the group, Amina Owls. That's true. That is a good catch title for the group, Amina Owls. Thank you. We have some good people who are awake during the midnight hour. But I must say that Danny pulling out a gun at her ex's wedding did warrant some consequences. I'm not sure whether she had to necessarily be removed from the board, especially since she had raised so much money. So Hannah said that her behavior was hardly role model behavior for the youth that they try to help. But Danny pointed out that they waited until after the fashion show. She said that the gun incident happened weeks ago, but they waited and waited until she had raised all that money before they decided to remove her from the board. And so she said that if anyone is a lousy role model, it's you. She was talking to her for doing that after they purposefully waited until she raised the money. And she said if her behavior was so terrible, they should have removed her right away. But they got kind of loud. And then, unfortunately, Bill and Haley were just delighted to see that all this was happening right in the country club. And they didn't mind rubbing it in her face. So those two become more and more unlikable to me. And they kept kissing and performing in front of her just to embarrass her. And then they actually came over to her, and Haley was talking about how she just felt sorry for her, and she said that they are in the same boat because they're gonna shun her just like they shun Haley. And Danny let her know, we're nothing alike. She said, you have to cling to your husband for respect. But she said she's a Dupree and she just has respect on her own. She doesn't need to cling to a man for respect. And she told Bill, she said that his bride's brain must be broken, so take her on home. Now, Danny did react a lot better than I thought she would, because, Danny can get kind of wild. If you've been following this is like episode 32, so some of you who might have been looking at this series know how Danny can be sometimes. As a matter of fact, in the restaurant, the waiter did ignore Haley, and Bill had to order for her in order for her to get served. So I was surprised that the waiter was willing to show his disdain for Haley in front of Bill. But I guess Bill let it happen. He knows it's going to happen. He said they're going to take baby steps. So remember, I invite anybody to call in too. You can make comments and you can also call in. The number scrolling 412-530-5063. Okay, so now we go back to Anita, Danny's mother. She comes in the club, and Danny thought that Anita had already known that she was going to be taken off the board, and she was a little upset with her mother. But her mother let her know, no, she didn't know. She was just going to get her nails done. And so when Danny told her what happened, Anita said, oh, I'll take care of that. But Danny said, nope, she didn't want to be anywhere where she wasn't wanted. She said, no, don't even worry about it. Tina, hey, Tina, how are you? Okay, we have another night owl. All right, thank you for joining in. Yeah, make a comment if you want, call in. All right, you're getting more and more night owls. Or Amina owls. Okay, so Anita told her that the organization didn't deserve her. All right. Now, also, Martin had called Danny and said he wanted to talk to her. And so he went to the country club to get some advice from Danny about Samantha wanting to model. Of course, Bill had to make a remark about it. All right. So, now remember, the number scrolling, someone just texted me that the number is scrolling on the screen, 412-530-5063. All right. So yeah, Bill had to make a remark about Martin always being in a mood. And he's just such an unlikable person. I don't know how to say too many bad things about this. Now, remember what we said before, in soap operas, you can be the evil villain one day, and then the next week you'll end up being the hero. But right now, he's the villain. So Martin talks to Danny about, Samantha wanting to be a model. And Danny was talking to him about it and said that there are some dangers in modeling, but if there's a good team behind her, then everything will be okay. And she had a funny nickname for him, Smarty Marty. So that was funny. So what I'm going to do right now, you can listen to the music a little bit. I'm going to try and see if I can text the number to her. Let me see. The person who asked. Oh, okay. We got a call. Hello, Amina. Would you like to make a comment?
No, I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay, that's good.
Do you think that Martin will ever come around to letting his daughter go out on a date or become a model?
Okay, I have a feeling that he will. And the reason I do is because with the Dupree family and their modeling era, I don't think they want to give that up too soon. And I think Danny would want to, I think she would want to manage her actually. Now we know in this series, Samantha called Chelsea and asked Chelsea if she would manage her. But Chelsea wanted to get out of modeling. And so I have a feeling that she would probably recommend Danny. And this would give Danny something to do. And if you watch the episode, remember when Bill went over to Danny and talked to Danny and said, you know, Chelsea's not modeling anymore. You got kicked off the board. What are you going to do to spend your time, right? So I think that what they're going to do is have Danny manage her so that she will have something to do, and she can also protect Samantha from the, you know, the hard modeling career. What do you think? Do you think that he will eventually come around?
I think eventually, but I'm not sure because Martin is rather strict on her.
Yeah.
I think he's stricter on her than he is with his son.
Yeah, that's what she said too. She said, why do you let Terrell do anything he wants to do, but you won't let me do anything? And she said, is it because I'm a girl? And so, of course, he's not going to admit that. But
absolutely not.
Right. But a lot of people are a little more protective of their girls than their sons because they kind of expect their sons to be a little wild, whereas the daughters, they always want to be the protector of them.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But I have another question. The real estate lady, I think her name is Vanessa.
Yeah, Vanessa.
What do you think is going to happen with her and the guy that she's trying to sell a house to? The guy that's crooked.
Yeah, Joey. I don't know what he wants with her and Doug, because it's something that he wants with her and Doug because he wants to keep Doug in debt. He wants Doug not to be able to pay for his loan. So I know his career. I guess that's what we're going to find out. And if you speculate, now Doug is a heart surgeon, right? He has something to do with hearts. And I don't know whether he wants to have someone have an accident that way. You know how those people who are in that type of a business, they like to get rid of people. So I don't know whether he's going to use that, or I don't know whether he has a vendetta against him. I don't know whether he has anything to do with that Ernie. Ernie was the guy who did the surgeries on his mother. Remember, he did all the surgeries on his mother, and his mother didn't make it. And so, you know, Ernie left town because he didn't want the wrath of what Joey was going to do to him. So I don't know whether,
I think I missed that. I didn't see that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Oh, and the only reason we knew that is because when was it Naomi? No, not Naomi. When when Nicole talked to her husband Ted, she told him that Vanessa was selling a house for Joey because Joey wanted to give it to his mother. And that's when her husband said, wait a minute, his mother transitioned a year ago and then he explained the whole situation, and he explained how their friend Ernie left and never to be seen again. So that's how we found out. And then when Vanessa confronted him and said, why did you lie to me? He said, well, because I'm old and I didn't want you to realize how old I felt, and the house is really for me. So another lie, I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Right.
So I don't know whether he's going to.
Yeah,
thank you for calling. And I don't know whether he's, he's pretending like he has feelings for her to just mess with Doug. And I don't know whether Doug has something to do with that, situation. So I guess we will see. How are you liking the soap opera so far?
I think it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was reading on my phone today that between soap operas, The Young and Restless, Bold and Beautiful, and General Hospital, and Beyond the Gates. Beyond the Gates is almost at a tie with General Hospital.
Really?
Which is pretty good. Yes.
That is because
they're just a little bit behind, but they're catching up.
Wow, that's good because General Hospital, I think, is the oldest one, isn't it? The oldest soap opera.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
I think it may be.
Well, that's good. I hope it continues. I hope so
too. I certainly hope so.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So we got another call in. There was another call that came through. Maybe they'll call back now that the line is free. All right. Let's see. So where were we in the soap opera? Yeah, I thought that Danny, with all her talk, because she said if they have a good management team behind them, the models will do all right. So I thought she had convinced Martin to allow Samantha to model. And did I tell you the funny nickname she had for him is Smarty Marty? So I hadn't heard that before today. So, but when the scene goes back to Samantha and Terrell, they're talking after Samantha stormed off from Martin, saying that she was going to go pursue her dream of modeling with or without his permission, which is kind of disturbing behavior for a child to his mother or father, to her mother or father. And so for her to just say, I'm going to do it whether you want me to or not, right to his face, that was kind of rough. And I don't think any of us would accept that type of behavior from any of our children. But another disturbing statement was when Terrell told Samantha that while she wanted to be famous and be seen, he wanted everyone to forget that he exists. Now that was disturbing, and it shows that he really does need some type of therapy, probably because he's being bullied, and we don't know whether he's being bullied because he does have two fathers. And even though nowadays it's getting more and more acceptable, we still don't know because there are always children out there who can be mean and nasty. But he still never told any of his fathers what actually happened to his face. And they both tell Smitty that he's the reasonable one, and they have to walk on eggshells around Martin. And then when Martin gets home and tells Samantha that she couldn't be a model, Smitty warned him that if he keeps saying no to Samantha, she might rebel. And that's when Samantha tells him that, she's only doing all this to her because she's a girl. And Terrell gets to do anything he wants. Here's another phone call. Let's see if we can take that. Hi, this is Amina. Did you have a comment?
A comment and a question. This is Aviva.
Oh, hey, Aviva. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine. Thank you.
Well, I'm loving your show.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'm not a soap opera watcher, but I was watching it at someone else's house, and I saw a woman put a syringe in a young woman's hospital. And I was trying to figure what happened on Beyond the Gate that would make this woman do that to that young woman. I'm trying to watch it because it's an all-black, much predominant black cast. And I do like Toonie. I think she's from Pittsburgh.
You said she's from Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mark Toonie Homestead.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to hang up and listen to your answer, but I was wondering what was going on there because I'm going to try to, and even though it's not my favorite thing to watch, soap operas and reality.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you got to see that little portion when you were over a friend's house.
Yes, and I love your show because you bring so much insight and so it made me interested.
Well, thank you very much, Aviva. And don't be a stranger. Call, make a comment, and I'll try to answer that question about the syringe.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye. Good night. All right, we have another Amina. Okay, so what happened with the syringe? Now, if you were watching the show, the one character, her name is Jackie sometimes, Dana sometimes, but she's the one who had an affair with Ted. And so she's trying to get back at Ted, and she has a daughter. She was supposed to have gotten rid of the daughter, but he had paid her a lot of money to leave town and to get rid of the daughter, but she did not. She took the money, had the child, left town, but she came back and she wants to break up their marriage because she sees how well they're doing and she's jealous. So in one of the episodes, what she had done, the person that she had the affair with, his name is Ted, and he's married to Dr. Nicole. And so Dr. Nicole had an assistant working with her, and her assistant's name was Laura. And, she did well there. And what she did was she followed Laura home one time, and she was in a motorcycle, and she caused Laura to go off the road and have a car accident. And the reason she did that was so that her daughter, because she's friends with a couple people who know Dr. Nicole, and so she did that so that her daughter, Eva, could possibly take Laura's place as Nicole's assistant. And so it did actually happen. Nicole did take her place as an assistant, but then Laura is getting better in the hospital. And so what Jackie did was she dressed up as a nurse, and she went into the hospital. Somehow she got into the hospital. She got, I guess, people to believe that she was a nurse, and she went into her room after her, I don't know whether Mona is her guardian or her aunt, but after she left, she went into the room while Laura was asleep, and she put that syringe into her IV so that she would not come right out of the hospital. And sure enough, what happened was the following day or whenever, she thought she was getting well and getting ready to come out the next day. And the Jackie or Dana, the one you see on the screen, she had overheard that from Mona, who is Laura's aunt. And she decided she had to do something to make sure that her daughter, Eva, kept her position as the assistant for Nicole. And the reason she wanted her daughter to be the assistant for Nicole is so that she can get some of the inside information about what's going on in their marriage, and they can find ways to destroy that marriage. So she put that, whatever it was that she put in to the IV. And then the next day, the doctor said that she can't really come home. Laura can't come home yet because they don't know what's going on with her, because it showed that something was happening with her heart. So whatever she gave her had something to do with her heart. And that's what Aviva, that's the scene you saw when she was going in there. But what was interesting is, I think it was either today or yesterday's episode, the same Laura who pretended like she was not Laura, her name is either Dana or Leslie, depending on who she's around, because she continually changes her name and her appearance. She'll put on different wigs and disguises so that nobody will know who she is. But she found her way to the nurse's station, and she was on the computer and everything. And then Shanice, that's the main nurse who knows what's going on, as there she is with her cute dimples. But she came and she was asking who she was, and the Jackie or Dana, she said that she was a new nurse from a different hospital and that she would be there at night and she was there to take care of Laura. So, But then, this is a soap opera. It's not real life because I'm sure there would be other ways to find out that she wasn't really an actual nurse. And she had on the gown and not the gown, but the scrubs and an ID. So they find ways in these soap operas and these movies to change their identity and convince people that they are who they say they are. So I hope that answers the caller's question about the syringe. All right. So now I'm hoping that Terrell can get some type of therapy, because for him to say that he wanted everyone to forget that he exists, that sounds kind of scary. To a parent, that would sound scary, because no one wants a child to feel like they don't want to exist in this world. All right. Now let's see if we can get to what Samantha tells Chelsea. Samantha, who wants to be a model, calls her cousin Chelsea, and she lies to her because she tells Chelsea that her fathers didn't forbid her from being a model. And so she asks Chelsea to be her manager. Now I'm thinking that Chelsea will, like I said before, suggest that Dana would be the manager, because she does need something to do that is something that she likes, and maybe that will give her something to do and help protect Samantha if Martin comes around and says yes, she can be a model. So we'll see how that goes. Now, as far as this episode goes, the clinker for me was that Anita invited Hannah over to the house. Now, Hannah is the one that fired Danny, but she's the head of the organization, and I'm sure it's not just her decision, but they decided to remove her from the board because of her antics. And so Anna came over, and she thought she was there to talk about some upcoming project. And it did take a lot of nerve of her to go to their house after removing her daughter from there and just come to the house like nothing happened, And in real life, I'm sure they would have known before that Danny was going to get fired. But anyway, Anita let her know right away that there was a proper way to do things, and it's not shamelessly using a board member and then removing them from their position, because they felt like she was using Danny to get the money, for the charity. And Hannah says that when a board member compromises the organization's image, you have to act. That's what Hannah was saying. And Vernon says, we couldn't agree with you more. And then this is when Anna hits her with, this is why we're getting rid of you. He said, First Generation will no longer be under the Dupree Heritage Foundation. And that's where most of their funding comes from. So, And Hannah said she couldn't believe that they were being so petty. But Anita said that she preferred to call it justice. And she said that the foundation will start a brand new organization to provide scholarships for first-generation college students, and that Danny will chair that one. And then she told her that if first generation does fall under, that maybe she can get a job from Danny. She can beg Danny for a job, and that maybe Danny would be more merciful than Anita would be. So to me, that was like the most interesting part of the episode, for them to hit her with that clinker that Danny was now going to head another organization that was going to do the same exact thing as that first generation organization was doing, which was helping college students who are their first generation college students in their family, which is a worthy cause. So at least they didn't try and destroy the organization without having another organization to take its place. And although I don't approve of what Danny did, with the gun at the wedding, there still should have been a better way to remove her from the board. I mean, they should have really, which in normal case, they probably would have had a meeting and everybody would have been involved and they would have probably had a vote and they would have all known, and not done in public. So if this wasn't a soap opera, I'm sure that's what would have happened. Okay, so don't forget to hit that like button, that share button, and that subscribe button. And that was the end of that episode. So if you have any comments or anything about that particular episode, let me know. And since we have time, we can talk about the Never Ever Mets. Now that's the reality show. And this is the first episode. What I'm going to go over, it comes on Fridays. And so I'll go over the first episode. And this is where the couples have been dating for long distance. And they actually date each other over the social media. And they're finally going to get a chance to meet each other in person and on TV. And so this is another one of those crazy reality shows, but they're sometimes fun to watch. And Taronda Jones is still hosting the show. I'm not sure whether many of you know Taronda Jones, but she used to be in that series Empire with Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard. She was Taraji P. Henson's assistant. And she's also a comedian and a rapper and all that, but she does a good job of hosting the show. And the fun thing about Taronda is her outfits. I usually can't wait to see what she's wearing. Her style is like very unique. She looks good in her clothes, but her style is a little different than most people. And so she's fun and she keeps the show going. And the couples will be living for 3 weeks in the same house. So that always makes for good TV too. So now we can talk about the couples. Okay. They start off with previews of what's going to happen throughout the season. So you can already see that there's going to be a lot of drama taking place. But the first couple that we'll start off with is Charlie and Jared. So Charlie is 34 and she's from Dallas, Texas. And Jared's 32 and he's from Columbia, South Carolina. And they've been dating for like 4.5 years. Now that's a long time to be dating long distance or even in person, but they've been dating for 4.5 years and haven't seen each other. And they attended the same high school, but they never crossed paths. And then they connected on social media, but they both have big secrets to reveal. And we start off knowing that Charlie just had a baby that Jared didn't know about. So that's her secret. That's one of her secrets. And she felt like Jared was probably seeing other people all that time. So she, felt like she could too. And so that's what she did. But we don't know what Jared's secret is. I don't know whether anyone cares to guess. Maybe it could be that he also has children. But anyway, Charlie was the first person to arrive at the house. Now, the next person to arrive at the house was Alicia. And she's 36. And she's from Nazareth, PA. And she's been dating Irvin, who's 44. And he's from Brockton, Mississippi. And they've been dating for 5 months. And Alicia says she refuses to settle. And Irvin admires her strength and confidence. So I got a lot of this from Google about some of their background information, But he worries about her zero tolerance. And Alicia says that she doesn't drink and she's positioning to be a wife and not a girlfriend. So she was the second person. Now you can stop me at any time and make a comment or ask questions or even call in. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. So the next person to come was Tatiana. And she's 34, she's 31, and she's from Los Angeles, California, and Clavacia. That's Clavacia. Clavacia. She calls him Clay though, so maybe I'll call him Clay. I kind of like to say Clavacia though. But he's 28 and he's from Riverdale, Georgia. And they met through mutual friends on social media. And Tatiana is a mom. So the chemistry has grown stronger, but Plavaxia is hiding a major secret. Here's another secret. There's so many secrets this season, and they've been dating for 8 months. Then Alexis arrives. And Alexis is 47, and she's from Philadelphia, PA. And Chris is 35, and he's from Dallas, Texas. So there's over a 10-year age difference with Alexis being older than Chris. And Alexa comments that men her age usually let themselves go. So I don't know how men her age feel about that statement, because they'll be watching. But they've been dating for a year, and they were introduced by a mutual friend over the phone. And she's the one that joked when they were introducing each other, and she introduced herself by saying that she was 40 fine. That's 40 Fine. Oh, Dana says, woohoo, Philly. Kind of think that might be your hometown, huh? Oh, yeah, but she's from Philadelphia. Now, some of us might remember Chris from Ready to Love. If any of you are Ready to Love fans, he was on Ready to Love, and he ended up dating Maya from Ready to Love. So evidently that's over with, and I don't know if that's the person that she saw him with when she decided that she wanted an apology from him. But we'll get to that later. When we get to their first dates, you'll see what happened with that. She wanted him to apologize to her, and I think it's because she must have seen him with this younger Maya. But she said she didn't like him at first because he sent her a picture with his tongue sticking out, so she didn't like it. So she asked him to send her a more provocative picture, which he did, and they've been talking ever since. Then the next person to arrive at the house was Kiki, and Kiki's 29, and she's from Atlanta, Georgia. Brandon is 30, and he's from Birmingham, Alabama. And they've been dating for 4 years also, which is a long time. Like I said before, it's a long time. But Kiki said that she has been hesitant to meet Brandon because she's worried about his reaction to her, because she's a bigger lady. Now, she's a beautiful plus-sized model, but she's still insecure about her looks. But she is a model, so that should tell you something. So she may be insecure about her looks, but if you're secure enough to be a model, that tells you something. But Brandon says he likes big girls, as he calls it. He likes big girls. And he's a former football player, and they met on social media. And another secret, Kiki's been secretive about her living condition, her living situation. So I don't know what that means. I see Devon Diva 2 says, yes, she was the one who asked for an apology the first date. Wonder what you thought about their age difference. Oh, well, I think 12 years is a big difference. Especially now, it might be, I don't know whether it's what would you call it, when if there's a difference between men and women, you know what I mean? But usually there's an age difference with the man and the woman. When there's an age difference with the woman and the man, that's always a little different. It's always looked at a little differently. I'm trying to remember what that's called when it's, two-sided. It's not evenly, distributed, the criticism. But she's like over 10 years older than he is. And yeah, she did ask for apology on that first date. Yeah. So they say age is just a number, but a lot of times it can make a difference, but it depends on the maturity of the person. So if the younger person is mature enough, I think it can work. But that's I think what it takes. How about you? What do you think about the age difference? You think it makes a big difference? So I know people always think that when the age difference is with the woman being older, they call her a cougar. But when the man is about the same amount older, they don't seem to talk about that as much as they talk about the age difference when it's a woman. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, maybe we'll get to the part. I don't know. I don't want to go past an hour, so I'm not sure whether we're going to get to the first date. But she wanted an apology because, oh, Dana says cougarish. Your opinion, others' outlook can be a stressor. Now that is true. Sometimes other people, the way they look at your situation, sometimes it can affect your relationship. You should not care what other people think, but a lot of times it can affect a relationship. So if you don't have a strong foundation in your relationship, then other people's opinions can matter. Yeah, but as soon as they did meet on that first face-to-face date, she said, "You owe me an apology." And he was like, "What?" Acting like he didn't know what it was about. And then he said, "Oh, yeah, I apologize. I apologize. I apologize for going." He made some kind of remark about for being in a relationship with another woman. And then she said, "Well, make sure you don't do it again, or do you think it'll ever happen again?" And he kind of hesitated and said, No. It didn't seem convincing to me though, the way he said it. It sounded like he might do it again. So I don't know. But then again, with him being on Ready to Love so soon, before being on this, it seems like this particular person, which when he was on Ready to Love, I was really, thinking, oh, he's a good guy. But for him to be on another own reality show so quickly, it almost seems like he's just looking for the cameras and looking for the limelight, So, but it apparently OWN loves him because Ready to Love is on OWN and this show is on OWN. So I don't know whether he has a manager that's helping him get onto all these shows. Because what we find out is a lot of the people who are on these reality shows have been recruited, and some of them want to be actors and different things like that. So, Dana says he's not really ready to settle. Doesn't seem like it, and 35 is a good age to settle, but for him going from place to place and from person to person, he was just with Maya and now he's with Alexis. So it doesn't seem like he is. And then when you see his answers, just like when she asked him on that first date, she said, am I your type? And instead of him saying, yeah, you're my type, he said, well, I go by energy. So, she should realize right then, if you can't say, yes, you are my type, and you say, I go by energy, that kind of might mean, no, you're not my type, but he's not going to say it right then. So that's what that situation was. Now, the next person, let's see, do you have a favorite couple yet? Oh, let's see, do I have a favorite couple yet? Yeah, I know this was the first. I wonder if you all are looking at it too, but this is the first one. So I'm trying to think of who do I think is my favorite couple. Of the ones we talked about right now, I do like Kiki, but then when they were on their first face-to-face date, she was, they had some wine and she asked for a little more wine because he gave her a little bit. You know how usually when you have wine glasses, you give them about an inch, right? So she asked for a little bit more and she said she's a little nervous. And he said, oh, and he kind of got concerned about her drinking. He said in the, in the confessional that he's a little concerned about her drinking. And I'm thinking, he just asked for a little bit of wine right then and there. It doesn't seem like she has a problem, but we don't know. So, I like the fact that for their face-to-face, he had a photo shoot for her. And that was nice. He had her in lingerie and different things like that. So he's trying to let her know that he has no problem with her size, so I like that couple. I think I have to get to know them a little more to really have a favorite couple because, yeah. Let's see what time. Oh, we got 6 minutes, huh? If we had gone through all of them, I could maybe tell you which one. Let's see. We just have about 3 more to go, and then we can go, and then I'll try and tell you later on. But right now, quick to judge too quickly. It's still early. Yeah, you mean quick to judge about her drinking? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure yet which one. Yeah, get to know each other. Yeah, Tina says get to know each other. Yeah, they do have to get to know each other. That's true. And it is quick right now to know. So, but let me just go through the last three, and then maybe the next time we'll go over their first dates, and then maybe if there is a next time, we'll see, because we'll see if we have another show or not. But let's see. Oh, we did say the next to arrive was, did we talk about Kiki from Atlanta? Brandon's from Birmingham. They've been dating for 4 years. Yeah, she's a plus size model. Yeah, and they have another secret. And then Brittany arrives next. Brittany is 41 from Houston, Texas, and Tyler is 38 from Los Angeles. And Brittany calls him Ty. And they've been dating for 3 months. Now, see, that seems like a little more normal. 3 months, that's not bad for dating, It'd be nice if they were in the same place, but 3 months isn't bad. And Ty's brother introduced them. Brittany has a 3-year-old son, and she's looking for something serious. She values chivalry, and Ty says he's a late bloomer and is looking for a true partner who's comfortable in sharing responsibilities. Ty said he will cook for Brittany, and she looks at Ty as an alpha man. So I like that couple. Now that we've come to him so far. Now, in their first date, they did parasailing, and he was screaming more than she was. I mean, he was just having a having a fit about it. But it was a fun date, and they seemed to enjoy each other. So I like that couple too. And the last one to arrive was Cinco. Now, Cinco, all the ladies looked at him wondering why he was there. It was all the ladies, because usually what they do is have the ladies come and then have the men come later. But he was there, and they were wondering why this man arrived and not connected to any of the ladies. So I don't know. I guess they decided to switch it up. But anyway, Cinco is 30 from Atlanta, Georgia, and Jay is his lady and she's 30, and she's from Maywood, Illinois. And they met online through a mutual friend. And Jay's 6 feet tall, and she's a basketball coach. And she didn't believe that Cinco was 6'7". And even though he's a professional basketball player, she still thought he was lying about his height. But she's a devoted single mom, and her life revolves around her 4-year-old son. And Cinco said that finding out if she can cook is a big thing for him. I guess he likes to eat because he's a big guy. But anyway, their face-to-face was on the basketball court. So of course it would be, because she's a coach and he's a basketball player. So, but he just kept dunking on her. But I guess, and then they actually measured each other there. He said, "So do you believe me now?" So I think she did finally believe him. And since we only have about 3 minutes left, well, Taronda had called them out and told them, what the process was all about. And she told them to get ready for their face-to-face with their long-distance relationships. But she still doesn't explain why Cinco was there and Jay wasn't, But the funny thing about Cinco and Jay is the ladies sleep in one room and the guys sleep in another room. But Jay decided she wasn't going to sleep with the ladies. She said she was going to, I think because she didn't really have her choice of beds. She was the last one to come. So she didn't really have, I don't know when she came, because they never showed when she came to the house. But she didn't come to the house when the rest of them did. So I don't know whether it was on purpose that they switched it up, or was it some type of an error. But she thought she was too tall to sleep in those beds that they had in the women's room. She's 6 feet. Now, Cinco, I guess because of his height, he has a king-size bed. So she decided that she was going to sleep with him in the men's room. And she was going to sleep in his bed because, he has a king-size bed. And the other funny thing about that is that when they got back to the place, the very first day that they met, she decided that they were just going to shower together. She said she might as well get it over with now. So she decided to go on and shower with Cinco. So far, it looks like they have a good relationship. So after seeing all of them, who do I don't have a favorite yet, but I do like Kiki so far, and I hope she, overcomes her insecurity about her body. And I think he will be maybe okay. But the funny thing is, now he said he likes big girls, but when she met him face to face, she said, oh, I thought he was going to be taller. So it's almost like she's judging him, but he is not judging her. So we'll see how that goes. And I want to thank all of you for joining in today, for making your comments, and those of you who called. I really appreciate it. Now, I'm not sure when I'm going to do another show, but if I do, I will let everybody know. But this has been fun. I enjoyed it. And I think I'm going to keep watching Beyond the Gates. I'm going to keep watching um, Never Ever Met. And I'm also going to watch something called Somebody's Son. I don't know whether any of you have seen the advertisement for that. I think it's coming on Saturday. But this is where it's like a matching service, a match dating service, but it's where the mother chooses the dates for the sons. So that sounds right now like an interesting premise. So, oh, I see JMD says, great show. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming on and making a comment. Dana, thank you for the great chat and show. Thank you for being on. And Design Diva, thank you. Great show. Thank you. Thank you all. You all helped make it a great show. And don't forget to hit the like button when you leave. And thank you for joining me. And I hope to see you next time, whenever that's going to be. But I'll let you know because it may be a while. And Who the Goat said, enjoyed it. Thank you. Looking forward to your next show, Dana. Okay, I'll let you know when that comes. And Tina says, you did a good job. Well, thank you, Tina. Thank you all. And I don't want it to go past too much an hour. It's 101. And I hope you all can enjoy the rest of your evening and hope to talk to you soon, but I'll let you know. Have a good evening, Amina. And thank you for the name. Have a good evening. Have a good midnight hour.